It's been over 24 hours since Arlecchino has released, and after pulling for her and accumulating over 10 hours of playtime using her on stream, I kind of regret pulling for this character. Now that is not to say that Arlecchino is not a good character, but there are just a list of things that I don't enjoy about her gameplay wise and about her playstyle. My first big concern is about her HP, because Arlecchino utilizes Bond of Life. If you're new to Arlecchino's kit, basically she uses her skill on the enemy, which applies Blood Debt Directive on the enemy. For the purposes of this video, we're going to call it BDD from now on. And when Arlecchino uses a charge attack, she dashes at the enemy and collects her BDD, granting her Bond of Life. When Arlecchino has Bond of Life, the only way to heal is by using your ultimate. Any external healing from any other characters in your party does nothing for Arlecchino because she only heals herself thanks to her amazing debuff that she applies to herself. This was my biggest concern for her character, as it decreases her survivability by a lot. But while Arlecchino's HP and healing are suffering, she makes up for it with the amount of damage she can apply. And yes, while it is undeniable that Arlecchino outputs a lot of damage with her BDD and Pyro Infusion, it's just difficult to stay alive. Arlecchino's entire kit is based on having this aggressive playstyle, but honestly, it's a double-edged sword because she's very restrictive on her healing. And if you happen to have energy recharge problems with your artifacts, you're just screwed. All you could really do is run around and dodge until you build up her ultimate to heal. And throughout my playtime with her, I ran into this problem with Arlecchino countless times. Arlecchino is simply a glass cannon. Now, similar to other characters that have this high-risk playstyle, you typically play Arlecchino with a shielder. That can fix a lot of these problems, but at the end of the day, you're still waiting a very long time for her ultimate if you don't have it to fully heal Arlecchino. Now, this next concern isn't really huge, and you could honestly probably call this a skill issue, but Arlecchino's skill cooldown is 30 seconds, and that is really long. While in reality, it's actually a very reasonable cooldown because after collecting BDD, Arlecchino is granted Pyro Infusion for around 20 seconds. Now the range on this is pretty good, but there have been instances where I miss my skill because an enemy teleports or goes into the ground at the wrong time, and when you miss her skill, it really sucks. Arlecchino is literally unplayable without applying her skill on an enemy. The big annoyance is that you have to wait 30 seconds for the cooldown, and throughout that time, you're doing absolutely no damage. Missing Arlecchino's skill is absolutely detrimental, and unlike other characters, we'll use Hu Tao for an example, you activate skill and you instantly have Pyro Infusion on your weapon, whether you strike an enemy or not. Missing Arlecchino's skill is just a big time waster, especially in something like the Spiral Abyss. But again, it could just be watered down to a skill issue. I just thought it was something valid to mention, as in actual gameplay, I found myself in this scenario of not having your skill readily available on many occasions. I just feel like it's hard to justify Arlecchino's high-risk, high-reward playstyle, when literally the banner right before it was Neuvillette, who had no risk in his gameplay. Yes, he does drain HP, but he heals consistently while he's doing damage. So there's no waiting for an ultimate, there's no waiting for a skill, and you don't even have to wait for even other party members. And just while we're on the topic of other characters, I feel like there are so many more reliable DPS characters in Genshin to choose from. So many that there's not really a valid reason to play such a high-risk character for the same reward. Especially when my Raiden Shogun can do the same thing without the risk of using Bond of Life and not having a healer. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Just thought I'd put them out there as more of a warning for people that are still hesitant on pulling Arlecchino.